Right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And thank you, Aunt Susan, for your testimony. Um, yeah, actually, what Aunt Susan shared is part of what I'm going to be sharing today. So it was nice to, yeah, to hear that that was something that really inspired her and impacted her. And just generally, it was really great to have some people from Belvedere, Susan, and we also had Olga and John, who are YSP, but also they did recently sign membership at Belvedere. So some of our new members and some of our GPA first year and second year members, Chris and Kwansan and Patrick, and yeah, maybe a couple others. But yeah, it was really nice to just have that those people there so that we could get more feedback and also just kind of create our dreams and visions together. Um, but what I wanted to share tonight is mainly I wanted to share the actual content of what we received in Las Vegas. So, not in my words, but taking it directly from the words that Reverend Dunkley wrote on the slides and just give it all to you, so that you can have, the raw information, the raw vision directly from our Continental President Chair and and then share at the end just some things from some ideas for Belvedere on some of our local goals and then on our pathway forward and a few ideas from myself as well. Um, so I'm gonna share my screen. So Quest 27. This is what this is what uh, we that this is what they're calling this next kind of milestone in our movement. Leading up to 2025, the Chungwon opening, that was like a huge milestone, right, for our movement. That was many, many years in the making. We had Vision 2020 back in the day, leading up to the year 2020. And now the next milestone is going to be the year 2027. So, one of the things that I really thought was just so fun and cool was they really tried to make the whole presentation like a game. So make it like fun, make it gamified. And yeah, it was very like just very colorful. This was exactly the image that they put up in the beginning, and they called it Quest 27. So it's like we're going on this journey together. Um, so a couple of points of content I want to share. The first one is called the Four Great Realms of the Mission. And then the second one is about the membership journey that Susan talked about. Um, and this content was made for the leaders to really understand just very much in detail the pathway forward and what Reverend Dunkley wants to see in America, what your mother wants to see in America. And so it was like casting a vision, but there was also a lot of what I felt was leadership training, going into the details of how we should think about something and how we should, you know, um, how we should view something, how we should do something, the right attitude to have in certain situations. So I really appreciated that. And I just felt like the best thing I could do coming home is to offer this up to all of you here. Because, yeah, if you're here, I think you're somebody who is a leader in your own right. You are contributing to the community. You are committed to our vision and our mission. Otherwise, I think you'd probably be spending your Tuesday night doing something else. So that's who I'm assuming is on this call, and I think that is a correct assumption. So thank you all for being here as leaders, and as contributors towards this shared vision. So, four great realms of the mission. Four great realms of the mission. As leaders, we serve in four realms simultaneously, aligned with True Parents' vision of the individual for the family, family for the community, community for the city, and nation for the world through the vertical line. The pastor represents True Parents in all areas of their work according to the scope of their geographical area. Because of their vertical providential alignment with heaven through True Parents, at the same time, the pastor has their own family that they need to love and cultivate the joy they're seeking to guide others to experience in the community. Um, So, dynamic of the four great realms of the mission. We should find a way where each level of the body serves the larger purpose. True parents explain many times that the individual should live for the sake of the family, and so on. So he showed this little diagram, an example of the individual for the nation while bypassing the family and community, which is not ideal. And his point with this is that for a long time we kind of had this, uh, we kind of didn't do this correctly, as Father instructed us to do this, where instead of the individual really living for the sake of the family and investing in that family so that that family can then live for the sake of the community and then the nation, we kind of bypassed the whole family and the community, and it was more like individuals living for the sake of the nation or living for the sake of the world. And oftentimes it was the families or the communities that were kind of not invested into and kind of forgotten almost and neglected on in this process of investing to save the entire nation or save the entire world. And so he was saying how this was, for a long time we've been doing it this way, and that it's caused a lot of issues in our movement that we haven't really done it in the proper order. Um, and he was, emphasizing that each level of our interaction has something to offer the next. That if the person in leadership terms, the pastor or the minister or whatever, yes, they have their responsibility in the community. Yes, they're thinking about restoring the nation and this big, lofty goal. But their first priority has to be, well, first of all, their own mind and body unity, and then being able to live for the sake of their spouse and their children, and then really create a family that can live for the sake of the community and a community that can live for the sake of the nation. And that's kind of the order that we want to actually um, work with and work towards. So the to kind of go into each one of these steps more deeply, the membership journey is the individual for the family, and each person begins as a guest, a participant, or a seeker, or a child. Through the attendance map, they're guided towards the blessing and lineage, but they don't walk alone. They walk for the sake of their family, present or future. And for the pastor's role is to help individuals discover faith, join the community, and commit to God's model of family. This applies to the pastor's family as well. Okay. And whenever I'm reading pastor's role, I want you to hear that not as, oh, that's Pastor Justin's role, or that's Pastor Daryl's role, or Pastor Mika's role. I want you to hear that as that is my role, because again, if you're here, you are a leader. You are somebody who's willing to take responsibility and go this journey of faith, and it's a joyful journey if we do it the right way. So yeah, please listen to it that way. The second point is blessed family community. So the family for the community. The local church is more than a group of individuals. It's a garden where families are planted, supported, and grown. Blessed families need help to thrive. Singles need a path. Children need care, support, and a future. Even if only one member is active, the whole family matters to heaven. Our goal is to build joyful families with a public mind who serve others and raise the next generation. And the pastor's role here is to create a God-centered, family-friendly environment that supports growth, healing, welcoming, and joyful atmosphere that supports generational faith. All right. Adieu. And the next stage is the church as a peace embassy. So this is where the community can then start to live for the sake of the city or the greater community. Each church is a local peace embassy, an extension of Chonwongun and a representative of Chanokuk in its local setting. But the role of the embassy isn't just internal, it exists to serve the city around it. A true peace embassy opens its doors, hosts its neighbors, and becomes a center of hope, hospitality, and service. And the pastor's role represent heaven in the public square, serve the city, make the community visible and valuable to the wider world, find ways for the families and members to excel and lead in the wider community. Okay. Um, so yeah, Reverend Dunkley really emphasized this point that this kind of extension of the Cheongun to look at what's happening in Korea, look what's happening in the Hyojeong Cheonwon and Cheonpyeong, and to look at that not as, oh, that's so wonderful and amazing what's happening in Korea, but to look at that and ask ourselves that question of how can I follow that model in our local community? How can we create something that just like the Cheonwon is, it's this amazing building that you can see for, from miles away. And it's not just something that our members are going to look at, but it's something that the whole city is going to look at, and it's going to be impacting people, and the doors are open to anybody to come in and to really experience, everything that God wants them to experience. So that's the community for the city. And the next one is providential alignment, connection to heaven. So community, nation, world through the vertical line. Each community belongs to a global movement with a central spiritual root. We align with Holy Mother Han, the providence of Chanoguk with the Chanwanggun, and the dream of restoring heaven's lineage on earth. This alignment is where the central spiritual power and support comes to the community. We connect through the vertical line of relationship with the pastoral line up to the continental director. Our local work must reflect the heart, direction, and timeline of heaven. So the pastor's role is to guide leaders and communities in your care to align in substance with the center through the vertical line. So, um, yeah, it's really important that everything that we do, of course, we can use our own creativity and our own ideas about how to accomplish the goals that we are trying to accomplish and fulfill the vision that we share. But ultimately, everything needs to be aligned so that it can be something that really unites together with our true parents' vision, which is expressed through our continental director. So that's also a really important point. Okay, so the next points that I want to go through is what on Susan talked about, which is the membership journey. So this idea that um, everyone goes through a journey to um, get to the inside of the house, right? Like Aunt Susan said, it might just start by looking on the outside. You see this beautiful garden. Maybe you might have walked along across, around your neighborhood, and you might have seen one of your neighbors and they have like the most beautiful garden and the most beautiful flowers, and you kind of wonder like, wow, like how do they do that? And who is this person? Why do they care so much? Um, I know my next door neighbor, he has like the nicest lawn I've ever seen in my life. And it makes our lawn look really bad in comparison. But whenever I see his lawn, I'm like, wow, he invests so much in his house. And it took me a while, but when I look at it now, I'm like, I want to step up a little bit more, I want to do a little better. It definitely gets me curious about the way he thinks and why he cares so much, right? So when you have something that looks nice on the outside, it can attract people to become curious. So this is level one, the garden, which we also call engagement. So they're outside, but they've noticed the life inside. So where they are, they're outside the house, walking along the sidewalk, or standing near the fence. Maybe they've seen the lights on or heard laughter inside. Analogy meaning they've encountered us online or in passing, social media, a flyer, a video, or a personal testimony. And what this feels like, what this place feels like. So basically, it's saying, what does it feel like to be in the garden when you're in the garden? So it feels open, it feels low pressure, it feels beautiful from a distance. Something about it catches the heart. Leadership posture. So this is the posture that leaders need to have when they see people in the garden, when they're in the garden with somebody who just walks in from the street. And that posture is to be visible, to be welcoming, don't push, just show signs of life and warmth. And the spiritual theme is curiosity, first contact, and safe distance. All right, so um, I think this is such an important thing to keep in our hearts and our minds. because we have in the past, I think, had a tendency to try to push people through the garden and into the house as soon as possible, right? Like as if it's not good to enjoy that garden for, take a breath of fresh air. But no, we want you in the kitchen cooking the meals already and whatever it is, and we're trying to push people through as fast as possible. We definitely don't do low pressure, or we didn't in the past, right? Um, and giving people that space to just enjoy the garden, but at the same time, slowly build their curiosity at the house and say, "Oh wow, look at that house! You know, that house looks pretty amazing. This garden is nice, but I wonder what's in there." Um, so that is the first level of engagement, and the second is the porch and wraparound deck. So the second stage is where they go from being in the garden to maybe joining you on your deck and having a nice chat. And this is the level of participation. So they've stepped up onto the deck. They're not inside yet, but they've come close enough to be hosted. So where they are on the porch, maybe sitting on the steps, they're attending events, listening, tasting, checking. Um, so analogy meaning they're participating in live gatherings, Sunday service, workshops, service projects, but haven't fully committed. And what this place feels like, it feels comfortable but undefined. They are being hosted, not yet belonging. They are welcome to come and go. Um, and the leadership posture is be invitational, present, consistent, relational, host with joy, and invite them to learn the story. Spiritual theme is relational trust, spiritual resonance, and invitation to belong. Right. So, um, yeah, I definitely think, we've had a lot of opportunities for people to participate, right? Whether that be our community gathering or Spring Fest that we just had, or our ACLC prayer breakfast or UPF events. These are all opportunities for participation, right? They're not quite seeing themselves as members of the community, that they belong here, that this is their home, but they're being hosted by the people who do consider this their home, right? By all of us, brothers and sisters, by the pastor, by all the ministry leaders. We're there to really host them and to have them feel like they're being taken care of, right? Um, so the next stage is the living room. So once they've had some time to enjoy just being on the porch and being hosted, then eventually we invite them in and say, "Hey, why don't you come inside and sit down and enjoy a good time?" And this is what membership is. So they've stepped inside, they have a key. This is home now. So where they are in the house, they've chosen to be here, they've joined, and now they belong. Analogy meaning they've signed the membership form and are building real relationships inside the community. What this place feels like. It feels warm, it feels stable, it feels shared. They're invited to sit, help in the kitchen, maybe even decorate. Um, Leadership posture, empower, walk with them, help them discover their purpose and gifts. Spiritual theme is ownership, growth, identity as a child of God. Right. So this is what it feels like to be a member. And I hope this is relatable to all of you because you are our members, right? So, we want you all to feel like it's warm, like it's stable, like it's shared, right? To feel a sense of belonging and ownership. Um, and one quick note, one point that Reverend Dunkley mentioned is um, at some point, it is good to invite people from participating to membership, right? And he brought up a analogy of what they do in Morocco, which I think Jamel, you're from Morocco, right? Originally? No? What is that? Algeria, was it? I forgot. Yeah, Algeria. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, maybe you have some shared culture. But anyway, what he was saying is, if you are a guest in somebody's home in Morocco, for the first 3 days, you are a guest where they host you, they'll cook your meals, they'll do your laundry, they'll, just be so hospitable to you. But by the fourth day, they they say that you become a family. So you're no longer a guest, you're a family. And that means you're expected to help out. It means you're expected to help cook and clean. And looks like Jamel's giving me the nod of approval. Yes. Yeah. So you're expected to help out at home. And the reason why they do that is because, it's not good for someone to be a guest at someone's home for longer than 3 days. Otherwise, it doesn't work out. People get resentful. It's and the family suffers and the guests will suffer and everyone's just going to suffer if you just stay as a guest in somebody's home. I don't think any of us would want to have a guest at our home for longer than 3 days anyway, right? Eventually, we want them to start helping out, right? Oh my God, I'm so tired of cooking your meals, right? So that's a very real metaphor, I think, for real life. Um, so the next one is the upstairs hallway. So they've been in the living room, and eventually you want to welcome them up to the upstairs hallway. And this is the blessing preparation. So they've climbed the stairs, they're ready to make the covenant to prepare for sacred family life. So, where they are upstairs, preparing for a lifelong commitment, this is where bedrooms, prayer rooms, and sacred vows are held. Analogy meaning they've entered the pathway to the blessing. They are candidates preparing for matching and the blessing. What this feels like sacred, focused, quiet, full of prayer, questions, and personal reflection. And the leadership posture is to walk gently, be clear, let them feel the gravity and the grace. Yeah, I love that, to feel the gravity and the grace, that this is so important and so powerful and so, you know, such a great thing to do, but at the same time, also the grace that this is a gift, that this is God's love. And this is also a process and a journey. So spiritual theme is covenant, preparation, and maturity. Okay. So the last level is the master bedroom and children's room. So level 5 is the master bedroom and children's room. Blessed family life. So they live here now, not just as a couple, but as a lineage. So where they are, in the heart of the home, living as a blessed couple, possibly raising children, leading others. Analogy meaning they are bearing the fruit of the blessing, raising a family and contributing to the movement. What this place feels like, full of laughter, service, challenges, and love. It's the engine of tradition and community. Leadership posture, support, respect, guide them to align with the providence. Let them lead where they can and rest where they need. Spiritual theme, legacy, lineage, love that multiplies. All right. Yeah, I think this is so beautiful. Um, and yeah, really guiding people to align with the providence, right? We want blessed families to contribute towards this amazing dream that God has and lead where they can, but also rest when they need. Um, and yeah, again, a lot of this stuff is things that maybe we didn't really do so much in the past. Maybe a lot of times we just kept pushing people to give, give, give. And even if that meant, some neglect on their family life and their spouses or their spouse or their children or whatever it might have been. Um, but really to allow them to lead in their own way, to contribute in a way that works with where they're at in their life and with their gifts and their passions. Um, and yeah, make children, which is beautiful, right? In the master bedroom. That's what we do in the master bedroom, right? Okay. Um, so this was a chart that just kind of puts it all together. So understanding the thresholds, Each stage of the membership journey is defined by a clear shift in posture, not just activity. This chart outlines the entry and exit points for each level, the key triggers that mark when someone begins operating at the next level, and what indicates they're ready to move to the next. These thresholds help us avoid guesswork and provide consistent support. My son just walked in. Um, consistent support across all communities. Think of each level like a room in the house. You enter by doing something that signals spiritual intention. You exit by making a deeper commitment that opens the next door. Okay, sorry. Give me one moment. I have to move to the front. My master bedroom is being invaded. Okay. So, um, yeah, so again, going through these different levels, we've got engagement, and the entry trigger is they receive or notice an invitation to engage in person or online. Their identity experience is as an observer, peace starts with me follower, peace starts with me member, spiritually curious. They say yes to attend a live event or gathering. That's kind of the exit trigger where they go from just engaging kind of from a distance to participating. So as a participant, the entry is that they show up live. Once they show up to something, they become a participant to an event, a service project. Um, they are guest, friend, registered participant, spiritually open, and they exit to the next stage when they hear the story of the movement. Peace starts with intro and member class. Um, Level 3 is membership. Entry is they are invited to join and they sign the membership form. That's when they officially become a member. And the identity slash experience is community member, growing disciple, contributor. Um, they complete the education. That's the exit of the discourse lectures, the intro to the blessing, and sign up for the blessing journey. Level 4 is the blessing. They begin blessing journey, deeper education, matching, counseling. Um, and their experience is candidate for the holy blessing or identity. And they can graduate from that level when they receive the blessing and commit as a blessed couple, prepare for family life. And the number 5, blessed family life. The entry is they begin family life as blessed spouses. Their identity is God-centered family, parental identity, and their exit is ongoing journey, not exited, but invested, serving providence and raising the next pure water generation. Okay. So, that is the kind of the journey that they mapped out for us all. And um, I think I'm sure many of you already heard that the goal is to achieve 30,000 active members by 2027 in North America. We're estimating, or headquarters is estimating that we have around 9 to 10,000 members right now in North America. So that would mean an additional 20,000 in the next 2 years. Um, and uh, basically what they asked us to do is to locally is to map out based on those different membership journey levels, what our goals are going to be locally for 2027. So you guys ready to hear our Belvedere goals? All right. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to say that these goals are goals that kind of I went through, very quickly, but prayerfully, putting these out there, went through them with our team. And we all felt like these were in the realm of possibility with faith, right? With God's help, right? Um, so first of all, we have engagement. And again, engagement is any kind of engagement where somebody positively notices our movement. Um, and I'm estimating that this past year, it's around 4,000 unique people in this past year that maybe at one point heard something positive about Belvedere. So you think about anybody that you ever talked to or had a conversation with at the store about your community. You think about all of our, we have about 1,000 followers on Facebook, and we have YouTube views, and we have our socials, and we have our website views and all that. And you add up all those engagements, and maybe it's something like 4,000 unique people that have noticed at one point that we exist. So that's all engagement is. Okay? It's kind of a low barrier of entry, but it's a big garden. That's what it's supposed to be. So a goal for 2027 is to go from 4,000 to 30,000 unique individuals who are um, somehow engaged in that calendar year of 2027. So the next one is participation. Um, Participation means that somebody, one unique individual, has participated one event in the year. So again, it's a pretty low bar. So this could be people who participated in Springfest, and an ACLC event, a UPF event, a community gathering, garden, garden gathering, whatever it might be. Um, and my kind of estimate was maybe around 500 people participated in something last year. Um, and so the goal for 2027 is to get that to 3,000 unique individuals who have actually participated in some kind of event that Belvedere hosts. So membership-wise, these are people who have signed a membership form, and they are active members, maybe participating at least once a quarter or maybe once a month. We still have to kind of get the clear metric. What is it? What counts as an active member? We're not 100% clear on that, but my estimate is around 150 people who might contribute either something financially, or they're participating somewhat regularly, or they've signed a membership form. And the goal is to get to 400 by the year 2027. And you can see the percentage growths at the bottom there. So the next thing is blessing journey. This is counted by blessed people who are blessed, active blessed members. And again, active maybe means that they're giving something and they're participating at some regular level. So my estimate was 120 right now. Um, and the goal is to double that by 2027. And the next one is active blessed children. So these are both young children, minors, and as well as adult blessed children. So, and this is active members. So again, they're either participating in something, or they are maybe donating something. And so my estimate was we have around 60, and our goal is to also double that to 120. Okay, so far so good, everyone. All right. No one's having a heart attack. Okay, great. That's good. Um, so this is my thought about how we're going to grow. Um, and not everyone might not agree with me, but I really do believe, like 100%, I believe this, that we are going to grow on an exponential growth pattern. That it might start off slow, but it will drastically increase as we get closer to the end. And this is exactly what I saw last year with the campaigns, where we got like 80% of our results in like the last 2 months of last year, right? So my prediction is that the same thing's going to happen. But it doesn't mean that we can just wait around until the end of 2027 for miracles to happen, right? No, it takes time because we have to create the system, right? We have to create systems that work. That includes improving our environment, and it includes team training and raising up leadership, really building a strong team. It includes really creating a culture that can allow for growth, and a lot of that culture is, I think, just some of the things that we're talking about now, about everyone getting really clear on the membership journey and getting really clear on what we're about, and what our mission is and what our vision is, and how we're supposed to operate, the posture, the attitude that we need to have as leaders, especially, and a structure, right? So we're going to spend some time probably these first 6 months just really, really investing in these things, creating the proper systems. And then the next phase will be just once we figure out what systems work, is to just work that plan, start to really iterate and to improve and to learn from the plans that we have and constantly improve our systems. And then the final phase, once we have something that's really working, it's going to be the harvest season. It's going to be harvesting those fruits, and it's going to be really exciting. Um, and so again, it doesn't mean that we're not expecting growth sooner. We want growth this week and next week and the week after, right? But also at the same time, we don't want to get down on ourselves if we're not reaching our 400 members by, the next 3 months or something, right? So just keep this in mind. Um, and anyway, this is just something that I was thinking about, an analogy. Um, it only takes one idea plus relentless execution to make a quantum leap. So, um, this is really what we're trying to do in our movement. We're trying to make a quantum leap forward. Um, and a quantum leap is very different from making an improvement, right? You can improve something that's you've had in the past and you try to make it better, right? You have a old house and you try to, fix the roof and fix the windows and you try to make it a little bit better, 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 right? But a quantum leap is really like a total transformation. It's about thinking completely outside of the box. It's about uh, you know, radical ideas that we've never thought of, that we were too scared to even come up with, right? But it's those kinds of things, those kinds of ideas that when we implement them, that even just one of those ideas, if one of them works, it can make all the difference. Um, and I just put Tesla here because I mean, I like Tesla. I have a Tesla, as you all know, but also um, because one of the things that Tesla's working on is self-driving cars. I'm sure many of you have heard about this, right? They're actually trying to make cars that don't need any humans to drive, and they can have taxis that just pull up to your door and take you to where you need without any human interaction needed. Um, so it's like these kinds of ideas, right? That is, think about what is going to happen to the world if we don't need drivers to drive cars anymore. Like, how is that going to change the way that we live our life? How is that going to change our economy? How is that going to change so many things, right? Like we all experienced it with the internet, right? Like the internet completely changed our life, and we don't even know how to live life without the internet anymore, right? So it's just one idea plus relentless execution. It can't just be an idea, right? You got to execute it. Um, just one idea can make all the difference in the breakthrough that we need. Um, and another metaphor is a farmer scatters hundreds of seeds across a field. Most won't germinate, some will sprout but die. A few will grow into small plants, but the one that becomes a mighty oak will overshadow all the failed attempts. Okay, so we're going to try some things and they're going to be new ideas. Not all of them are going to work, and let's all be okay with that, right? And have some grace for one another and hopefully for your leadership as well. And let's see which seed is going to really sprout and become an amazing oak tree. Um, so this is kind of what I wanted to share today. Um, part two, there is a part two. It's going to be next Tuesday, and that's going to be all about the plan. And as you can see here, this diagram, this is my mind. I'm trying to map out the ideas in my mind of how this would work in our community. Um, and I want to go over this in detail next Tuesday to get us all on the same page, but also get your feedback, get your questions answered, and see how you can also be a part of this membership journey locally at Belvedere. So I'll explain this. I'm sure you guys are curious, oh, what are these little, icons and things, but it might not make a whole lot of sense just by looking at it. So I'll explain this next week. Another thing is the team that will also be covered some ideas about the team that we're going to need in order to uh, accomplish some of these goals. And um, yeah, so that's something to look forward to. It's more of the down to earth practical. Today is more about the vision, the goals, both from the headquarters side, but also locally. So yeah, if you're someone who likes to hear the okay, that's a great vision, but how are we actually going to do that? Um, if you're that kind of guy or girl, then come next week, and it's going to be exciting and powerful. And yeah, again, hope to get your input as well.